Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Clangin and Bangin with Mikey, episode 178, and it's a continuation of June is Men's Mental Health. Like I said last week, mental health is extremely important, and it's also important to realize that it's okay not to be okay. A lot of people will sit there and pretend that shit's not what it is, or they'll sit there and not want to deal with their emotions. They'll sit there and do everything else but deal with what's going on in their head, and that's not a good way to live. I'm not casting judgment on anything, but or anybody going through it, because we've all been through, depression. No matter how severe or how small it was, depression is depression, and everybody copes with it different. Everybody copes with it in their own unique way. I'm not saying one way is right. I'm not saying one way is wrong, but everybody copes with it differently, right? And I think that's extremely important to realize that if you're going through something, it's okay to reach out. Not everybody's gonna want to listen to it, and that's fine. You have to be careful with who you tell, though, because there are a lot of people out there who will use what you tell them in confidence as ammunition against you later on. When my brother died back in February, I had people come out the woodworks for me, and a lot of these motherfuckers I didn't trust. I didn't like them. I didn't need them. And they kept telling me, like, hey, Mikey, if you ever need somebody to talk to about what's going on in your head, I'm always an ear. And I'm like, no, you're not. We never had anything in common. We never talked before that. The only thing that we knew about each other was our names. Why would I want to sit there and tell you what's going on in my head? It just didn't make any sense to me. Like, why would I put myself in that position where I'm now giving somebody else ammunition who may or may not have the best interest for me to use it against me? Now, I'm not saying all people are like that, because all people aren't like that. But what I'm saying is that you have to have the wherewithal and the mental fortitude to realize that not everybody's your fucking friend. People will use you, abuse you, mistreat you, do all kinds of shady shit, and be like, oh, but we're friends. No, you're not. They'll lie to you, they'll lie on you, they'll omit certain things to make themselves look good. It's like people like that, you don't need them in your life, man. I hate to say it, but the people I just described is like, a lot of them out there, like, they pretend to be this, great individual, but in reality, they're not. And it's like, okay, you can do that, you're free to do whatever, but at the same time, you're not free from the consequences of your actions. And that's what it is, man. I think at the end of the day, you don't get to misuse people and have that individual still be around. Like, that doesn't happen. I don't care who you are. Don't care what you got going on. But you don't misuse and abuse people. There's a difference between calling people out and addressing their behavior. That's a difference. I do that quite a bit. I call people out all the time. It's like, but you said X, Y, and Z, boom, 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 boom. Why are you doing this? This is the opposite of what you said you was going to do. So what are you doing? And it's just weird, bro. it's yeah. To me, it's just strange because like what's the point of talking about doing something if you never complete it? What's the talk about doing all that talking and never reaching your goal? You know, and I think that's what a lot of people filter. You know, like they love having the attention on them, they love having X, Y, and Z on them, but in reality, it's like they just want people to talk about them. And it's it's really sad, man, and it's really pathetic that people are out there doing that shit, or they'll they'll sit there and make excuses as to why something didn't work out. I'm like, no, it didn't work out because you didn't put the work in. Because if you would have did the work, you would have got some result. You didn't get nothing back. So did you or did you not put the work in? And call me an asshole, call me what you want, but it's like it is what it is. Anyway, let's just switch gears real quick. Monday tomorrow is Game 5. And if the Mavs can't come on and play the same way they played in Game 4, I could see them winning Game 5. I just don't think they have the stamina to withstand that for 4 straight games. And I think that's going to be difficult. Because as great as Luka played in Game 4, on Friday, he's going to need to play that way for the next 4 games. And I just don't think that team is talented. That team is youthful. That team is young. I just don't think they have. I don't think they have enough to withstand Boston's onslaught. But what makes it interesting too is like if you guys watch the game, if they push tempo, throughout the entire game, Boston can't run their defense. And if they do that for the next 4 games, I'm talking about from the starters to the bench. If they come in and they just push that tempo, there's no way that Boston can withstand that. Yeah. But you got to be strategic with your matchups. So, and there's no way that Al Horford can hang with Lively or Gafford. Them young boys gonna run up and down that court, like they got springs in their legs. And it was refreshing to watch because I don't know about y'all, but I'm a huge hoop fan, and when I tell you I was pissed about how Luka was playing, because I was, man. It's like, bro, you're like one of the greatest offensive players in the league. Why are you playing right into their hands? I think if he would have come out with that same intensity after Game 1, but it was the same thing for Game 2 and Game 3, and I was like, bro, that's why you're down 3-0. If he would have came out with that intensity in Game 2, fuck, that could have been a whole different series. But now their backs up against the wall. So, but tomorrow night it should be interesting though, how Dallas is gonna play and how Boston is gonna play. But the last thing I wanted to touch on, man, in this episode of my podcast is refeeds. Refeeds, they're not cheat days. What it is, it's an influx of carbohydrates and sugars, fat, and zero. You're trying to limit the fats, right? Anyway, what it is, it helps your body rebound from the diet, from the stresses of just training and everything, and it's like it just helps your body recuperate, and it balances out your hormones, and it helps you drop weight. So yeah. And I have my refeed today, and it's fruits, carbohydrates, candies and fat-free candies and fat-free ice creams and whatnot. So, and I think that's important, to have those things in your diet. I didn't realize that the last time I had a refeed day was like 2.5 months ago. So my body's due for one, and I can just tell. I can just tell from the energy levels, from my body being sore, my hunger pains, my irritability. So today is gonna be a great day because I get to actually eat like a normal person for 6 hours, and not have to worry about am I getting enough carbohydrates and not enough protein and enough fat, X, Y, and Z, because yeah, these days are fun. Days where I get to have a refeed day are fun. And one last thing, man, don't depend on the scale. Depend on the mirror. The mirror will never lie to you. It will show back exactly what you presented. I was on Twitter the other day, and there was this one cat. I guess she was overweight, and he went to this carnival. I don't know where, but his brother went to the carnival, and attendant had asked him to get off the ride because they couldn't close the lap thing, right, or the lap belt thing, right. And so after that, he didn't complain. He didn't hop on social media and do X, Y, and Z. My man signed up for the gym and he lost weight, and he wore, the same pullover that he got kicked off the ride for at that carnival every time he went to the gym. I don't know how many times he went to the gym. I don't know how often he did that, But it was refreshing to see because a lot of people would sit there and be like, "Oh, well, well, obesity isn't a choice." I'm like, you kind of can control what you put in your mouth, so it is a choice, right? It's like how overweight people have to buy two plane tickets because they're so big, and I'm like, bro, like the human body wasn't meant to be fucking 300, 400, 500 pounds of morbid obesity. You're not supposed to do all that. Not supposed to be like that. And what's crazy to me is like when people say that obesity is a choice and people who are fat get offended, I'm like, why are you getting offended? Because like it literally is a choice. It's like nobody's forcing you to eat, enormous amounts of meals from fast food places. Nobody's forcing you to do all that, right? And I think that's really, really interesting how the fact that brother, he took it upon himself not only to get healthier, but to, to make a lifestyle change. Because that is embarrassing, and they get told to get off a carnival ride because you don't fit. To get told to get off a ride because, like we can't strap you in properly. That's embarrassing, But it's also something that people need, man. I think, me personally, I think a lot of people they're way too sensitive nowadays. If somebody brings up their behavior, people want to act a certain way about it. And I'm like, you can't though. Like, what are you upset about? Like this individual told you the truth. Like, how can you be mad at that? Like, I don't understand that. And it's like, you're gonna get mad at somebody for telling you the truth, but on the flip side, you're gonna be upset because you're upset about people telling you the truth. And I've always thought that was strange. Me, for once, I've never gotten upset about how You know, I've never gotten upset with people telling me the truth. I've gotten offended by how they said it, because how they say it is like, is very critical. Because we've all had jobs where we had to work with certain individuals, and it's like how they say things or do things. It's like, oh, what the fuck, right? You know, it didn't make any sense, and it doesn't make any sense. And I think that's it's unfortunate, you know, because it's like words have power, man, and how you say things matters. Me for one, I'm not the most hospitable guy when I'm upset. But it takes me a minute to get up there though. And there's like it's not like I wake up pissed off or whatever it is, because I don't for the most part. But the one thing about me is I can't sit there and let somebody just be like, well, I don't know why this is happening or that's happening. It's like, I'm like, no, you know exactly why it's happening. Because you allowed it to happen. You know, like you've been allowing people to walk in and walk out your life for however how many years, and it's like you're mad at how they're doing you. It's like, stop letting them do that. You know, and that requires you blocking them on social media, blocking them on your phone, deleting the contact, deleting the text messages. I mean, it takes a while for you to get there. You know, anybody who's had some sort of connection with anybody realizes, like, yeah, it's like, oh, well, I can't really delete, you know. I can't delete phone numbers and whatnot. It's like, this person that I knew, this individual, they refused to move on from, like, they moved on from their last relationship, but but the other person still had contact with them. And I thought it was really strange, because it's like, number one, okay, like, you weren't married, it was a long-term relationship, and y'all didn't have any kids together. So why is this individual still contacting you about their personal issues? Stop doing that. Like, stop letting people still have access to you that don't deserve any access to you. Like, there's no point for you to do that. Like, it doesn't make any sense for you to keep, you know, having this revolving door open, you know, because what does it serve you? It doesn't serve you anything, right? It doesn't do anything for you, right? And I want the best for people, 100%. I don't care what it is, you know. Like, if you want a scoop ice cream, dog, as you go, like, I'll go support you and buy a scoop every Sunday. If you want to sell T-shirts, bruh, you know, send me the link. Which you go, and you know, and I'll definitely peep your page and I'll go support. That's different, bruh. Cause I'ma always want people to not have the best for them. I'ma always want people to be the best versions of themselves. But it's like, bro, like, there is some shit that you can't walk back from. There are some things that you can't say. A simple "I'm sorry" will suffice. There are some things that, no, it's never gonna be the same. And granted, there are some, you know, serious situations that, you know, no communication is the best move. And there are some situations where you're like, you know what, I'm cool. You know, I don't need to deal with all this shit. You know, I don't need to deal with you. I don't need to deal with your indecisiveness. I don't need to deal with anything you have going on, because it doesn't matter to me, right? And I think that's important, man. You don't become better by keeping the same people around you. I'm gonna say that again. You don't become better by keeping the same people around you. As I've gotten older, a lot of my friends who I was friends with growing up, I don't know them, you know? And what I mean by that is, like, I don't know the current version of them. They may know, you know, they may think they know me. They may think that, you know, that they know what's going on in my life, but y'all don't, you know. And it's interesting, man, because it's like, at the end of the day, like I said, you're always free to do what you want. You know, You're free to have autonomy and everything, but you're never free from the consequences of your actions. And I think a lot of people out there will sit there and make excuses, you know, about things that happen to them, things that have, you know, that they want to keep hashing over. And I know I'm kind of rambling on a little bit, but one of my buddies told me something when I was going through some drama. And he was like, "Dog," he's like, "You know what, man?" He's like, "My nigga, I got nothing but love for you, man. But it's like, my nigga, you love drama." I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, you like you love drama." He's like, "Every time we talking nowadays, you bringing up the same tired girl. Stop bringing it up." You know, and it took me a while to realize that. It's like, yeah, yeah, you know, because you got to sit with your emotions, and you got to, you know, and you got to have to figure out what's causing you to be triggered by that. And a lot of it, man, had to do with the fact that I was hurt, I was lied to, I was used and abused, you know, I was emotionally manipulated. But on the flip side, I had also ignored all those signs. So who's really at fault here? It can't be the other person, it's me, because I literally ignored the signs, you know, of what was going on around me, because I wanted something that would work so bad that it ended up not working out. And there's a saying that I always say: the universe will give you the same lesson until you learn it. And I got the same lesson until I learned it. Yeah, so anyway, guys, this is about 23 minutes of your life that y'all won't get back. Hope y'all keeping 4 P's, private player, positive pushing. I'll see y'all next week Sunday. I love y'all. Ghosts. Like I always say, know your worth, because you're better than what you are. And if you got a dream, you got to go after it, because you never know how good you can be until you try. All right, y'all. Ghosts. Love y'all.